Hey, Shalom. Double honors to the apostles of great millstone. Honest you brothers will be pushing this truth in sincerity for four corners of the earth. And all praise unto Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay. So I'm gonna do this quick video right here regarding the current state of Babylon, the place of confusion, the place of nightmares, the place run by Edomites, man. And a brother had sent this in the chat. I checked his page. He hadn't done a video on it, so I said, you know what? I might as well do a video on it, okay? Because I've been known to get into these kind of topics. You know, I like the psychology of how men and women interact. I like studying that kind of stuff. You know, studying group dynamics, all of them kind of things. I feel like certainly in the kingdom, when the Most High sets it up, these are things that's going to be necessary, because it's all part of wisdom, how people interact, how things come together, how things fall apart on a psychological basis. I think it's an important study to be mindful of, okay, so you can avoid certain situations and certainly maneuver when certain situations have come about, okay? But in the land of confusion in America, or out here in England, in the Western world, you got the breakdown of the fabric of life. And this calls to remembrance the scripture within the book of Jeremiah, wherewith the scripture says, therefore the nations have become mad. Okay? So you have this notion of female empowerment, and as a result of a direct result of female empowerment, and this reminds me of what it says within the book of Isaiah. Okay, yea, my people, women rule over them, and children are their oppressors. Now them children is talking about Esau. Okay, that's the rulers that you call the Illuminati, the rulers that you call the Rothschilds. That's the house of Edom, Esau. Now, I know when you go into them books, they ain't going to show you who Esau is or who Edom is. But the fact of the matter is, through prophecy, which is a thing that this world doesn't really understand, but through prophecy and the understanding of the scriptures, you find out who these nations are, and you find out that Esau is these elite banking families on down to the vast majority of the people that you call European, and more specific to the point, the people that you call Caucasian, but not just by color, because that would make this thing very basic. And we're not known for being basic here at Great Millstone. No. Okay, we go down to the lineage. Okay, the whose descent that person comes from. So we're not talking about how a person looks on the outward. We're talking about their descent. The descendants of the people that you call Caucasian are Edomites for the most part. And for the most part, they're going to look white. But guess what? You're going to have a lot of them that are going to look black too. Because when you check out the history of Esau and the women that he married when he had the mark of becoming Esau, then you find that he married dark-skinned women. Okay, that's the first point of contact that he made with those. Those were the first wives that he done got with. Okay, so the same thing applies now, is that he's going to run to get some color. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of so-called dark-skinned people looking out there, especially as a direct result of the transatlantic slave trade. You're going to have a lot of so-called dark-skinned people, black people, if you will, that are actually Edomites, because their lineage, their background goes back onto the man Esau. Okay? So if your father's father goes all the way back to Esau, then you're an Edomite, and you're the one that has upset the balance of earth, the psychology of how people's mind works to the point of destruction. And this is an example of that. Okay? So it says sex is to face tougher sentences on the plans of to make misogyny a hate crime. Now, this is an example of an idea that sounds good on paper, but in reality, it is the most adverse thing that could happen out here. Now, what I call to remembrance is the scripture within the book of Daniel, where if it says they are wiser than Daniel. This is Esau. They're wiser than Daniel, because they have understood how man and woman come together on a psychological basis. and in tearing up that fabric by terms such as sexism and misogyny, they've had it to where the whole entirety of the whole planet has started to fall apart. The fabric of life itself has started to fall apart. Okay? And this is what these elite banking families do. Now, here's the irony of that. Within their own so-called circle and their so-called sphere, okay, they do not practice equality. Okay? When you see the banking elite, the banking families that control the media, hence the sexism, hence the homosexuality that's being pushed out rampant in rampant form, okay, and hence this thing of misogyny, okay, they're the ones that push those ideas and make them as a bad thing within the earth. But the reality of the situation is they're the biggest misogynists themselves, because which is a right thing to be, mind you. Okay, you check out you check out the biblical place for a woman. You find out it's not on equal footing with a man. Okay, out there within Asia, they still understand that, and hence why they have a stronger culture. Okay, two things that are different cannot be equal. Okay, let me repeat that again. Two things that are different cannot be equal and will never be equal, because they are different. The honor of them is different. Okay, the honor of a chair is different to the honor of a table. Okay, the honor of chicken is different to the honor of lamb. Okay, the chicken's good, but you got to sacrifice the lamb on the Sabbath. The same thing applies for a man. Okay, both are kosher. The chicken is kosher, the lamb is kosher, but the honor of the lamb is greater than that of a chicken. Okay, and the same thing applies to man or woman. The honor of the man is greater than that of a woman. Notwithstanding, the woman still has a place, and she is to be enjoyed, but it's just underneath the rule of a man. Okay, and in a traditional society, that fabric of life raises the best societies. The best societies that's ever existed, with the greatest empires and the greatest kingdoms, of which this is not a great kingdom. Okay, this is not a great kingdom. What's the proof of that? America has always been persistently at war. So if they've never had full control of this earth like how they want to have it, that's why they're trying to do this thing of the so-called New World Order, because they haven't consolidated their whole power structure. And in order, one of the things they're going to do to consolidate their power structure is destruct the power structure so they can offer you an alternative, okay, which is going to be that chip. Okay, but let's not sidetrack too much from the article. Let's read this. It says, criminals motivated by sexism could face increased sentences as police prepare to review plans to make misogyny a hate crime. Okay, so for instance, if you start opening doors for women out there, okay, that could be seen as a hate crime pretty soon, man. Or if you say to if you rule your house in a certain type of fashion, and you got your women underneath you and subsequently your children underneath you, which is just order. Your first child is higher than your younger children, and your household, all of them carry your name, so you're the first, man. That should be pretty simple, man. That's actually pretty simple. Here it is, your father named you Israel, okay? And then your whole family circle, they get the same surname, because that's how they do the things out here. You get married and whatever. You're the first piece. You're the critical piece to become surnamed after that surname, man. Okay, but pretty much that's going to be deemed as a form of sexual harassment. Okay, proposals to make misogyny the sixth strand of offenses categorized as a hate crime are currently being discussed by senior police officers. Okay, so that goes into the thing of catcalling. Okay, of which if you see a fine woman, man, you want to put your hands on that fine woman. Now here's the thing that they don't talk about, and you will never hear this being talked about. Okay, so you might have a woman that's dressed in a provocative way, and she will attract the negative attention. Okay, which is the catcalling and so on. And mind you, okay, a large proportion of these sexually harassed women are the initiator of it, because they're the ones that are dressed in a fashion. Okay, that's sexually that's sexual harassment to the man. Okay, because a man is a very carnal based and instinctive. If he see tits out, he's gonna grab some tits, man. That's why in a traditional society, these women will be covered up. But see, Esau ain't gonna tell you about that, because he wants the splitting up of man and woman. Okay, he wants the thing of sexual harassment going out there. Okay, so he can really bring about chaos just on a family, just starting at the family, and that chaos is going to spread out through the whole fabric of society. And as a result, okay, it's going to be easier to bring forth that chip, man. It's going to be easier to say, okay, look, you followed your own ways. Now we're going to give you how we want you to be ruled. Okay, right? Proposals to make misogyny. Okay, so we read that and it says under the reform, sexism behavior or language would be treated as a great aggravating factor of other crimes such as an assault and harassment. A pilot scheme has been running in the Nottingham since last year and is expected to report back to police chief. So they got this thing popping off out here within the UK. Okay, but see, you know, it's just you can read the rest for yourself. It's just an example of, again, Esau, okay, tearing up something that is normal, okay, and changing it to be something that's not normal. And we all know this is all to have chaos come out there. And as a result of chaos, you can have it to where what? You can, remember their motto, their mantra is to what? Is to bring order through chaos. Okay, so they can bring their so-called new world order through. Okay, like I had mentioned before, they're not going to tell you that they're the ones. I mean, look at the most popular songs. This might be I might do a part 2 to this. So I might call this part 1, but part 2 is going to be dealing with, the popular songs that these women be listening to. Okay, they're talking about how they want to, how they're the top whore and they're the top slut. Okay, and they're gonna dress like that. And when they're out there and the man's gonna be a man, now it's a problem. Okay, but I might do that video at a later time. Okay, so hopefully that was of edification. Okay, with that, I'm gonna say, O praise unto Yah, Bashim Yah, double honor, see apostles of great most song. Honestly, brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.